Good day, Rizalians! Good day, Humanistas! Welcome to our first and new content that will surely help you on your journey as students or aspiring students of the HUMSS Strand. This is the HUMSS Salubong Diaries 2022 Part 1. I am Green Ermita, the Public Information Officer, together with Angela Alojado, the current Vice President of the HUMSS Society, and we are your hosts for today's video. In this video, we hope to guide you on your future careers that are significantly related to the HUMSS Strand through a panel discussion with graduates or majors in different fields. That's right. So without further ado, let's get to know our panelists. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy in Mater Redemptoris College and earned his Master of Philosophy degree at Open Seminary. His research interests are in the philosophy of human person, body and soul, metaphysics, and philosophy of religion. Let's welcome Mr. Miguel Ignacio. For our next panelist, he is a graduate of Rizaldy Technological University, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, cum laude, and is currently writing his master's thesis under the Department of Philosophy, College of Social Sciences and Philosophy at University of the Philippines, Diliman. He also specializes in the field of classical psychology, psychoanalytic theory, socio-political theory, and feminism. He is currently a member of Cor Apayron Group, a philosophical organization at UP Diliman. Let's all welcome Mr. Arnel Doctolero. He holds a Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Social Studies from Rizaldy Technological University. He also holds a Master of Arts in Curriculum Design, Development, and Supervision with major from Social Studies from St. Paul University, Manila. Let's welcome Mr. Rizaldy Z. Delos Reyes. For our next panelist, he studied at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a bachelor's degree in BE Education with a major in Special Education. He has been a teacher for 30 years and has become the most outstanding teacher in 1992 and 2000, and has been an executive assistant to the Undersecretary of DepEd from 2014 to 2017. He has been a textbook writer for 21 years and a resource speaker for 20 years. He is also a member of ABS-CBN, NMK, the Civil Service Commission, and the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA Scholarship Program. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Roel Lodronio. She is a graduate of a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in History, and studied at the Rizaldy Technological College. She has been a teacher for 30 years and become the most outstanding teacher in the division of Pasig City, second runner-up in the year 2005, and the most outstanding teacher in RHS Capitolio in 1998. RHS pinagbuhatan in 2004 and 2008. Let's give it up for Miss Noemi Lucas. Well, last but not the least, we have a graduate in Bachelor of Arts in Communication, major in Journalism, minor in Broadcast Communication in University of the Philippines, Baguio. She is also currently studying for a Master of Development Communication at University of the Philippines, Open University. Let's all welcome Miss Jacquelyn Basilan. Wow, grabe rin, no? Credentials pa lang at background ng ating mga panelists ay nakakalula na. Correct ka dyan, Angela. But before that, tanungin muna natin kung kumusta na ang ating panelists. Unahin natin si Mr. Rizaldy Delos Reyes. Sir, kamusta naman po ang iyong araw?
I'm excited na nandito.
Ay, Angela, okay daw si Sir at excited. Siyempre tayo din, excited tayo kung ano ang magiging ganap natin ngayon sa discussion na to. Since okay si Sir Angela, ikaw naman, tanungin mo naman ang ating itong panelists. Kaya nga, let's hear from our other panelists as well. Kaya, I'm going to ask Mr. Roel Lodronio, how are you feeling today, sir? Feeling nervous or quite excited?
Yes, I feel excited and I feel great because every time I will have engagement with learners, makes me happy.
Thank you, sir. Well, for us as well, excited na rin po kami na marinig ang inyong mga insights na for sure ay matututo po kami.
Thank you, Angela. But last but not the least, let's also ask Miss Jackie kung ano ang mga expectation niya ngayon sa ating panel discussion. Miss Jackie.
Excited because we're going to have a fruitful conversation, especially for the new listeners.
Thank you, Ma'am Jackie. Hindi lamang dumanista ang matututo, pati na rin ang buong Rizalians na nanonood sa atin ngayon.
Tama. And now that we got to hear kung ano ang mga insights, before we actually start with our panel discussion, let's see kung yan pa rin ba ang mararamdaman at kung mamimit ba natin ang kanilang mga expectations matapos ang ating panel discussion.
But before that, Angela, syempre, let me first discuss the agenda in this video. In this part 1 of the film, 6 panelists will respond to a series of questions prepared by our script writers. This then will conclude them responding to the questions that are related to their professions. Panelists, are you ready?
Yes!
Yes, ready na sila, Doreen. Kaya tayo na ay mag-start.
Yes. First, for the first panelist, ang ating tatanungin ngayon ay si Sir Miguel Ignacio. Sir, the first question is, since you graduate from the philosophy course, what made you decide to choose this path?
Honestly, marami akong choices. Pero on that day when I graduated high school, I found myself asking to which or to what direction I will pursue. And then, siguro it's calling talaga that I chose philosophy. But to tell you behind the story of that, nag-seminarista kasi ako. I entered seminary back then. And then, we have two choices to choose, or we have two choices that was offered to us, either mass comm or philosophy. And then, I don't know why I picked philosophy. But, you know what? I enjoyed philosophy because I get to know who am I and what is my purpose in life.
Said po na nag-enjoy po kayo. Siyempre, matanong ko naman po kung ano po yung mga easiest subject po sa course na philosophy.
You know what? All the subjects in philosophy are hard, you know? And my motivation there was, I tried to court every subjects that I have, or I had, no? Talagang niligawan ko ang mga subjects. I treated them like my girlfriend. So, talagang kasi, when philosophy, you know, when we discuss like metaphysics, like epistemology, you know what? Parang the moment our teacher, our prof started our lecture, talagang bilipad yung isipan ko, something like that. And then I challenged myself, why not treat them like, you know, mga girls, no? Like they are the one you admire the most, no? Parang you are attracted whenever you hear any lessons, any lectures. Yun, siguro it helps me motivated to focus and at the same time to really get the gist of every lectures that we have. And then when I wake up one day, I finish philosophy, I would say.
Thank you, sir. Sabi nga ni sir, hindi madali ang philosophy. So, mga soon humanista philosophy ang kukunin natin sa college. Mag-aaral tayo ng mabuti. Angela?
Grabe, lahat pala sa philosophy, mahirap. Ngayon naman, tanungin naman natin ang ating next profession, which is psychology. Sir Arnel, according to your credentials, you are a member of a philosophical organization and you are also completing your master's thesis under the Department of Philosophy at UP Diliman despite being a graduate in psychology. So, let me ask you po, sir, is there any similarities between the psychology course and the philosophy course which Mr. Miguel Ignacio mentioned?
There are two types kasi of psychology generally, yung BS psychology and AB psychology. I would say that there's a great overlap between AB psychology and philosophy because both would share expertise in literature at saka in the arts. But my background was Bachelor of Science in Psychology, so we focused on understanding the mind and behavior in a scientific way. So when I finished that BS Psych, it made it especially difficult for me to transition from a scientific orientation in understanding mind and behavior to a philosophical understanding of reality, social, cultural, and political. What's the question again? If there's a great overlap, di ba, between psych?
Any similarities?
Oo. Because philosophy naman is a very broad discipline. Sabi nga ni Sir Ignacio kanina, there's epistemology, it understands knowledge. So inevitably, it will focus on consciousness, on the workings of the mind. And then there's also metaphysics. Titignan nun ang connection between the reality and the perceptions of the mind. So for sure, there's a great overlap between psychology and philosophy. But with my background, because it is scientific in orientation, it made it really difficult for me to transition from that orientation to a philosophical one.
Grabe, nakakalula yung mga subjects na minimension nila, no? Metaphysics, parang kailangan ko pang i-google yan. Well, speaking of Google, naalala ko yung friend ko, he actually asked me a question na hindi ako sure kung ano yung sasagot ko. So, when he asked me this question, sabi ko sa kanya, i-google mo na lang. Pero ngayon, we have an actual major in BS Psychology. So, let me ask you po, sir, let me relate to you the question that my friend asked me. What is the difference po between BS Psychology and AB Psychology?
In UPD, mas marami yung required na subjects para sa BS Psychology. So mga required yun, which means you will have to take them, wala kang choice. Kailangan mo i-take yun. But for AB Psych, mas konti yung kanilang required na subjects at mas malaya silang kumuha ng elective. So kung ito AB Psych, pwede ka pang kumuha ng mga subjects on psychoanalysis, subjects on therapy, different kinds of therapy, subjects on clinical psychology. Malaya ka kumuha ng mga elective. So, napapatunayan naman ng AB Psych na art sila. At the same time, napapatunayan din ng BS Psychology na scientific.
Well, thank you, sir, for that comprehensive answer. I know it would help my friend, kung pinapanood niya man to ngayon, malinawan kung ano ang difference between AB and BS Psychology, and for other students as well who are planning to take the psychology course. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Angela. Siyempre, hindi papahuli si Sir Pao sa atin. Sir Pao, my question is, since you've graduated in the course of education, which is secondary, can you tell us what are the possible career opportunities after you graduated in the course of education?
In terms of career, actually napakadaming career, napakadaming opportunities na pumapasok once you're graduated in education. But let's just clear first, ano bang difference ng elementary teacher to secondary? Kasi kapag ikaw ay nagtapos into elementary, iba kasi ang preparations na inaaral doon. Kasi alam naman natin, that's the primary year ng mga bata. So the teacher should be aware kung paano yung attitude ng bata, paano sila gagalaw at kilos, especially kapag nagtantrums itong mga to. So si elementary teacher, hindi ko sinasabing hindi sila allowed magturo into secondary. Ngayon nga lang, may kailangan silang aralin ng mga units or subject para makatawid sila into secondary. Not unlike on the secondary teachers, they can teach on elementary but on a year of grade 5 or grade 6 only. Kasi iba ang preparations ng grade 1 hanggang grade 4. Kasi kailangan may manager o may na-manage kasi sila dapat in terms of behavior pa din ng mga estudyante. But ang secondary, napakadaming opportunities. Kasi you can teach on secondary like junior high school, you can teach also on senior high school. But another opportunities na magbubukas ng secondary education, once you have a master's degree or at least a units of 80 units, pwede ka na magturo sa kolehiyo. So makikita mo yung difference na pagtuturo from elementary, secondary, and college na maraming opportunities na magbubukas kapag ikaw ay graduate ng education.
Sir Pao, since you've mentioned po sa first answer niyo po na masteral, before that po, sir, is there a licensure exam po ba before you teach students?
Actually, meron. Pero ina-allow naman na magturo ang mga graduate ng education kahit hindi pa sila nakakapasa ng board exam. Yun nga lang, they need to finish or to take licensure examination for a safe pass or failure. Kaya ang problem din, hindi kayo makakapagturo into public school kung wala ka pang license or
Thank you po, sir. Since ako po kasi ang dream ko po talaga yung maging teacher. So, bali po, if I want to teach po sa public school, kinakailangan ko po talaga mag-take ng licensure exam.
according to the law.
According to the law. Thank you po, Sir Pao.
And ang pag-take ng board exam ay isa ring uri ng credential at mas maganda na may credential talaga talaga bago sumabak sa actual profession on field. And with that, grabe, 3 panelists pa lang at napakasiksik na ng ating discussion. And with that, let's move on to our next panelist, Mr. Roel Lodronio. Teacher Roel, my question for you is, well, si Sir Pao po kanina is a graduate po sa education, while you are a graduate po in B Education, major in special education. Is there any difference between these courses po?
Lahat naman yan ay education courses. And if you are taking up education, you will have your major. So that when you go to teaching, you teach a particular subject. Kasi yun yung inaral mo ng college, yung content mo. The difference with SPED, kasi with all other usual majors, magtuturo ka sa regular school, whether public or private. But pag SPED ka kasi, hindi regular learners ang tuturuan mo. Ito yung mga learners with special needs. At maraming category yun. And if you are a SPED major, lahat ng categories of learners with challenged learners, pag-aaralan mo lahat.
Thank you, sir. Well, meron tayo iba't ibang professions and unique to sa bawat isa. And just like students, may iba't iba rin po silang uniqueness and needs po na kinikater ng ating education system. Well, for my next question po, sir, what motivated you to major in special education po?
Yeah, first of all, before you can become a teacher, may common characteristics dapat ang lahat ng teachers. No? You should have altruism, no? Unselfishness, no? The willingness to give yourself to others. Kasi if you don't have that, you can never be an effective teacher. So, if you want to take up education, yun kailangan, no? You should have it in you. You should be aware of yourself that I have that altruism. I have the drive to serve. I have the drive to offer love and affection, especially to learners. Alam mo yun, malalaman mo sa sarili mo yun. So kung sa sarili mo, alam mo nang madali kang mapikon, egoistic ka. So I advise you not to take up education. So yung altruism na yun, pag gusto mo maging SPED teacher, yung level dapat ng altruism should even be higher than the usual teacher. Kasi it's really going to be very challenging and it would entail lots and lots of patience and understanding for your learners. Kasi hindi nga sila ordinary learners. They have extra needs. And if you are the teacher, you have to provide those needs.
Thank you, sir. That's quite a motivational and inspirational answer from you. And I'd like to add na if teachers are inspired by all students are inspired by teachers like you po. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Sir Roel, for that wonderful answer. Next up, let's have Mrs. Noemi Lucas. Ma'am, my question po is, since you're a graduate in history po, can you tell us about this course, which is history?
Okay, thank you. I heard you mentioned the word historian. Actually, it's very flattering, no? Because I am in the field of education. My major is history, but to be called as historian, it's something, no? Mahirap pakamit yun, no? For me as a teacher. But then, taking history is really a challenge for me because one, nung tinitake ko to, sabi ng mga classmates ko, it's a boring subject, no? Pero na-challenge ako. Sabi ko, it's a boring subject, pero I want to know more. I want to know more things, hindi lang yung ngayon, no? So, na-challenge ako. I continued taking this course. Then, I starting to read more books because I'm taking the major subjects, Philippine history, Asian history, world history, medieval history, most of them, no? And even yung hindi ko alam, pinapabasa ng professor namin. And during those time, professors, ang higpit. Pag sinabing history, malulupit, no? So, lalong nakaka-challenge. This is the question. Will I follow what the teachers, the attitude, the character of the teacher that I'm having? Ganon din ba ako? Pero I realized in my 30 years of my teaching, minsan talagang nagiging terror din pala ako, no? Pero minsan, ibinababa ko yung level of understanding ko to my students. Oh, well, I should smile pala talaga.
Sabi po ni Ma'am na nag-enjoy po siya doon sa history subject po niya nung college pa po siya. So Ma'am, tanong ko po ngayon sa inyo, what are the easiest subject po na na-take niyo po?
Made me realize the importance of history. Actually, isi-share ko na rin sa inyo that yung word na boring, actually, gusto kong tanggalin in the mindset of our students, no? Actually, history is fun. The more you read, the more you realize, kulang pa pala yung alam mo, no? So, ito lang din yung question ko in our society now. Kinakat yung history. Walang continuity of ang history, kaya hindi na-imbibe ng mga students ngayon, no? So if you will just continue reading books, no, and understand the past, connect it to the present, no? Sa aming mga nag-major in history, we need to, the challenge is you need to know your past, understand your present, no, and craft your future. Kasi that's history. Kailangan maituloy mo yung lessons of the past, no? So, nami-misinterpret natin that history, katulad nabanggit ko na, pag sinabing history, mahaba. Pag sinabing history, actually, it is on the strategy of the teacher kung paano niya ituturo ito to make history an informative subject as well as a fun subject to the students, no? So thank you for that question. Thank you.
Sabi po ni Ma'am na nag-enjoy po siya doon sa history subject po niya nung college pa po siya. So Ma'am, tanong ko po ngayon sa inyo, what are the easiest subject po that na-take niyo po nung college?
Wala akong masabing easiest because all of those you need more readings. And I tell you guys, in history, the oldest the book you read, that's much better. Yun yung itinuro sa amin kasi actually that old book maybe mas accurate siya, no? At talagang yung mga writers noong mga books na pinapabasa ng aming mga professors noon ay sa tingin ko more informative. But actually, ang daming naglalabasan ngayon eh. So, be careful lang on the references, no? Kung talagang, and even the writers, kasi ang dami ninyong mababasa na baka lang mamali, no? So, try to check it doon sa mga resources, no? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you po, Ma'am. So, mapa-easiest man, mapa-hardest subject man ng mga subjects sa history, dapat natin siyang pag-aralan. Hindi matututo tayo, hindi lang tayo, Angela, pati rin ng aking mga kapwa-humanista sa history na subject pag tinahak nila sa college. Thank you, Miss Angela.
Well, that's about it, Doreen, para sa ating profession na history. And actually, hearing from Ma'am Lucas, grabe, na-excite ako sa answers niya kasi back in elementary and junior high school, history is actually my favorite subject. And to add to that, well, historians or history majors record and study the happenings in the past. Ngayon naman, sa ating kasalukuyang panahon, syempre, historians work closely with our journalists na sila namang nag-record at nagpapahayag ng mga facts sa ating society. Kaya, for our next panelist, let us have Ma'am Jackie. Good afternoon, Ma'am. For my first question to you, Ma'am, well, what are the possible career opportunities for graduates of the journalism course?
Okay, so when it comes to career opportunities, una-muna, you can be a teacher kasi kumuha ka ng teaching units, tama. However, before pursuing education, meron akong mga other fields na tinahak, which is related, of course, sa tinapos ko na communication, major in journalism, and then minor in broadcom. So, una muna, nag-intern ako sa Philippine Daily Inquirer Bureau sa Baguio. I was an intern/journalist, and then I was also a videographer sa Sky Cable Baguio din. And then after graduating, sumubok ako, naging researcher ako sa ABS-CBN for some time. And then, I also work as a proofreader and then copy editor. So, ibig sabihin, I tried different fields. What is good about journalism/communication, tayo yung course na hindi mo mababaliwala. Kasi communication is ever-changing. Media is changing the landscape, the setting. So, ibig sabihin, tayo yung course na very proactive dapat. So, as a future journalist, siguro ito na lang yung, kasi journalism, so ang ending nito ay magiging journalist ka hopefully in the future. So, as I research or kasi ako binalikan ko yung past ko, bakit nga ba ako nag-journalist? Kasi nagtuturo na ako ngayon may ibang path na. So, I stumbled upon the message ni Maria Ressa. If you are a journalist, of course, you know Maria Ressa, tama? So, ang sinabi ni Maria Ressa is, this is about misinformation and disinformation. So, ang sabi niya, in a battle for facts, in a battle for truth, journalism is activism. So, ibig sabihin, why do we equate journalism and activism? Because as journalists, we should rally for truth, for change. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, as a journalist here in the Philippines, dapat yung tapang mo ay doble. Dapat ang critical thinking skill mo ay ginagamit mo because sadly, ang Pilipinas ay isa sa pugad ng misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So as a future journalist, para sa mga humanista na gustong tahakin ang larangan ng pamamahayag, of course, dapat tayo ay persistent. We use our critical thinking skill and analytical skill, and we should follow the code of ethics. But dapat we have concern sa ibang tao, and we should always ask for change. Kasi walang mababago kung hindi mo hihingi ng pagbabago.
Tamang-tama po kayo dyan, ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful answer. And you've cited quite a lot of professions na maaaring tahakin po for future journalists po. And aside from that, you mentioned quite a lot of values na dapat i-possess ng mga humanista kung babalakin po nilang tahakin ang course na ito. And, well, I'd like to ask you, ma'am, what motivated you po to take this course?
Okay. Before kasi ako nung nag-college, din ako, journalist, editor sa school. And then, out of curiosity, curious kasi ako pagdating sa social issues. Kung babalikan ko yung mga outputs ko nung college, hindi pa masyadong topic ang cyberbullying, pero most of my outputs ay tungkol na doon. Also, waste segregation problem sa Baguio. Yung grupo namin noon, we always talk about topics na relevant sa society. Okay, so ibig sabihin, those are the reasons bakit ako naging journalist. And lastly, mahilig kasi akong mag-analyze. Ina-analyze ko yung mga bagay-bagay. So, ayun.
Talaga nga naman kapag passion mo, ipupursue mo talaga kahit ano pa yung maging balakid sa daan. Thank you, Miss Jackie. Well, that's about it for our first Q&A segment. Ngayon naman, alamin naman natin kung ano ang magiging sagot ng ating mga panelists sa second Q&A segment natin kung saan ang mga tatanungin natin